Everyone, Frank here. Glad you could join us this week. We have a very special show lined up for you, and it is the very, very best of Antiox. So we did quite a few different shows there, and we've been there multiple times with different people. A very tough place to get into. We just did an excellent job videoing this and doing all the editing, week of editing. This is the best show I've ever produced. So if you like it, please share it, to your social networks. We'd like as many people to see it as possible. So we started off just kind of exploring the town site, and it was a lot of work to get further and further into the mine. All the entrances were blasted shut. It's a steep, remote location, but well worth the efforts. I'm sure you'll enjoy the show. So going forward, we've just had a really good year this year so far. We've met some interesting people and did some filming with them. And we'd like to continue doing that. So we're done haying for this year, so we want to do some more extended trips into Sandon and into Trout Lake. I don't have anyone to go with me, so if any people out there would like to join me, doesn't matter if you're single, a couple, male, female, or whatever. If you're interested in exploring some mines and getting involved in the production a little, we'd love to have some company, and hopefully we'll bring you some really cool shows later this fall. Welcome to Anyox. We're flying along Hidden Creek, and Hidden Creek is discharged from the mines, and we're heading to the ocean. It's low tide right now, and this is where they loaded up all the ships with the copper. And we're kind of right in the area of the smelter. There's quite a few stacks, big stacks still standing there. This is a huge stack. I think it was about 24 feet across, and that's where all the where the smoke came from the smelters. It was the largest smelter in the British Commonwealth. Now, there's hardly been anyone in Antiox for many years, but lately there's been some filmmakers and stuff. So we're just going to show you a little bit on what's still there on the outside. But our main reason for going here is to go inside the mine. And there's nobody been inside the mine since the mine was shut down in 1935. They blasted everything shut, all the entrances shut, and we were able to get in there. And we're going to show you what it looks like. The only way to get to Antiox is by water or by air. There's no road or rail or anything like that. It's completely cut off. It's a 60-mile boat trip to get up into Antiox. Once you get there, this is the only vehicle the only truck that's there was brought up by barge, and we're able to use that truck to get around to the mine and stuff. And so this is just showing you some stuff that's outside. This was the big general store. It was a huge general store, and look at all the wharfs and stuff. That was all it was all wharfs in there at one time. It's all kind of broken down. Lots of wildlife there. I've seen a lot of bears. And this is the iconic powerhouse. Everyone goes up there and takes pictures of it. And it's just actually kind of amazing. It was a real state-of-the-art powerhouse. It's generated most of the power. We'll show you the dam in a bit. It's generated most of the power from Antiox to run the smelters. They also had to have a steam plant because they couldn't actually generate enough power in the winter because just the water flows were quite a bit less. I think there's about 1,000-foot drop to the dam to here, so it was a pretty good place to build power, but just not really enough water for what they needed. Now, it's very tough getting around through the bush here and finding all these places. There's all kinds of buildings in the middle of nowhere that you wouldn't expect to see there. It's really overgrown. The jungle's taken everything back. So we hiked around there and just kind of thought we'd show you some of these buildings. There's lots and lots of buildings. Most everything, they had a big fire in 1943, and everything wooden was burned then. So what's left is all just the concrete, steel, the brick, and these huge towers. There's 3 of them still standing. There was another one that fell. And they're just huge. This is a big surge tank that actually would reduce the pressure from the dam if the spillway had to be shut down all of a sudden. And the town is all laid out there. There's 3,000 people there, and you see fire hydrants in the middle of nowhere. where you'd never expect them. And it was a very modern town in every respect. They had cold and hot running water, heat, everything in each house, bunkhouses and stuff. And here, see, this is just a building that's just just the steel is left and a lot of wood burnt from here, and just this kind of skeleton still standing. And we're in the. This is actually the stack, just below the stack from the smelter to the stack, and so that's where all the flue glass and stuff went along there. To the and the reason they have the big stacks is because the higher it is, hot air rising is quite high. It makes a tremendous amount of draw, so that really gets those furnaces hot. So the higher the stack is, the more draw there is, and the more oxygen that's sucked into the smelter, and the hotter it is. And they also made their own bricks. So this is a big kiln they had there, and those are all brand new bricks, and they're in this big furnace being cured. And so modern day, this is what we have here today. So they're mining slag here. So they've been doing that for 30 years, and that's the only people that live there. True Grit Abrasives owns it, and so they have a barge there, and they live on the barge, and we actually were to stay there. And so a big barge, tugboat comes in, brings in a big barge, and they load up slag, and they use it for roofing material, and they put it in concrete and some other industrial uses. So about every month or so, they get the crew in there, and they run those loaders for about 18 hours, and then they start loading this big barge up, and the tug comes in, and that's the only this thing's going on in Antiox. And yeah, you also see some buildings and stuff, and around 2004 they decided they wanted to build the old dam back up, so there was a camp from that, but it's all abandoned now and there's nobody doing anything there. So here's the dam. We'll show you the dam. We're looking at the dam, and it's just really amazing just how big it is. There's stairs and stuff that went down here, and the spill works and stuff are here. I'm gonna climb up on top, and you'll really be amazed. I'll just be like a little ant on the top of this dam here. It's a really big dam. So we're taking the highway up to the mine today, and this is the easiest way to get up to the mine. And we're lucky, actually, there's not very much water here, it doesn't rain here, so the easiest way to get up to the mine is just walk through this big creek bed. Having the drone along was just a huge help for us to get up there and actually find out where all these adits are. You know, because everything was blasted shut, and it's such a huge mine, it's really tough getting around and seeing where a guy can get in, so that really kind of helped us out, and got some pretty cool footage out of it too. Pit there, you can see some of these grayish streaks there. I think it's either silver or lead or a combination of those two. So it seems to be really rich in ore in there. So this face here has got the most adits. There's a whole bunch of cross-cut adits in there, and we couldn't get up. We couldn't get in any of those that we're looking at there. We tried from the bottom, and we couldn't get up, and we didn't see anything from the top going down. And the problem, this is really steep, and it's really loose, and it's actually overhanging. So really challenging to get in there. Yeah, you're looking from the top of the pit, you're thinking, well, there's no way to get down there really unless you take a rope and go down hundreds of feet of vertical walls, but we found a way to get into the bottom of the mine, and there isn't very many ways to get into this. It's the only one that I know of, and it's almost collapsed. There we go, we're just kind of having a look at this stope and just look at how massive this thing is, and I can just wait for Kevin to catch up with me here. It's a bit of a height to get around here. But it's a difficult place to get into, but we found the key and we're on the right track here now. So look at that overhang and stuff in there. Another possibility of coming down in through there, which we weren't really looking forward to too much, but one wrong slip and one of the big massive oceans.
There's a bit of rope in there, down that hole. Not sure if the camera is going to pick it up. And this one. Well, let's go up there and see what Frank's up to. When you say not steep, Frank, it still might concern me, right?
So all we're seeing so far is, so this material is all ore here, so we're seeing a bunch of holes around here, and then they just would have went straight down to the main hull level. So we're not seeing any crosscuts yet, but we'll get into the right one, and then we're going to see tunnels going into the rock, I would imagine. So there's all kinds of little holes and a bin. So we're going to head up into that one and just see if we can get further up here. Looks pretty cool. It almost looks like a fossil in there. I don't know if it is or not, but interesting looking formation all the same. Well, that's quite a bit lower, that stope there. Look at the crosscut levels looking all the way up there. And we saw this from the top yesterday. Yeah, we're hoping to get into kind of a major crosscut here. And I think we're getting closer to finding one. Sure dug a lot of material out of here, eh?
And this is only a very small portion of this. Frank went up there to try to see if he could go across to the, hopefully get into one of these tunnels, but it's really not looking like it. Says it's way too angular. Oh. We were trying to get over to right about there. Doesn't look like it's a no-go. That's where we were down in that big stope down in there. It's pretty darn steep there. I can hear rocks coming down all the time while he's trying to get down. Everything's fairly angular here, you might say. Very rarely are the angles in your favor.
So my plan here was to climb up here, and it looked like there was a ledge from the bottom where I could get across, but as you can see, it's there is no ledge. It's just really steep, or not enough of a ledge. Kind of nasty climbing up here as it is. So yeah, so that was not going to work. And unfortunately, there's all kinds of cool crosscut levels, but we ain't figured out how to get in to any of them. Hopefully we can find a ladder or something that goes up there, because there's got to be some way for the miners to have gotten from the different levels. We haven't figured out how they got. We haven't seen a ladder or a manway or anything yet, so we'll look around and see if we can find one. I don't even know if I can get in there.
This is kind of cool, all this crystallization on the rock since it's been opened up. This is some pretty ugly rock up here. It's completely fractured and hanging up over top of an old ore pass here. Looks kind of steep to me.
Oh, I saw a steel handle or something. That's what I saw. Like a calcium type of a... Yeah, that was pretty nice too. Take a sample here. Yeah, this ledge is fine to go up there till there. The problem is that stuff's all really crumbly up there. Just a little too nasty. Not much, just a little. And I can't safely get around there, and if they make one misstep, I'm done. I'm dead. You know, just a step or two from making it, but you know, that one step too far is what'll kill you. So we're going to call this a slusher at it. And you know, it doesn't look real steep, but we definitely need a rope to go down there. I'm just going to sneak down there and see if there's a level fairly close, we hope.
And this is what I climbed down it. It's not really that steep because I have an ascender with me. This part's not bad, but it gets a lot steeper. And if I had my proper rigging with me, it wouldn't be a problem, but since I don't, and you always try to decide what the hell to bring with you because everything weighs a lot, and all of a sudden I'm faced to be in here without what I really need to get down here. So
Frank's heading back up right now. We're hearing a lot of water on the bottom, quite a few feet under where he made it. And it's getting steeper and more treacherous, so it ain't an easy place to get in and out of. If you get hurt here, your probably shock will get you before the medevac. Frank's walking the ridge back in between the two big open stopes there. One down in there. And you're never really going to catch yourself if you start slipping down there.
you want me to roll that rock?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh boy.
Yeah, she's gonna go right down into the pit.
Oh boy.
Oh, fuck.
There are rocks flying all over the fucking place here. I don't want to work at the bottom and near the... Where the hell is he now? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's got a big one now.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool from here.
What are we gonna do now, Frank?
Oh, I gotta take out my, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Yeah, maybe I should take my iPad and get a position of where we are here. And, oh, there's a hole there, and there's a bunch of holes there, so we'll go check out some holes. Pretty colorful in here. Lots of sulfides. Tracks you're seeing here are mine. I was here the other day. But I didn't have my camera, so I didn't go very far up because I knew I was going to have to come back and film this because it just keeps going up further and further. Really quite colorful in here. Well, that's not going anywhere, eh?
No, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
Just a beautiful picture looking out. Yeah, so we're just sitting here having a little smoke here. Not me. Well, yeah, me, because all the smoke's coming down. And there it goes up the hole. Yeah, so we're going to continue on this other trail that goes up also. We've got a dynamite box here. And the paper is still in good shape here. Whoa, there might be some dynamite in here. Yeah, the paper's still here. Polar Foresight gelatin. Grandma must have had a hell of a deal on that because we sure seen a lot of that. Oh, look at that color. That, oh, isn't that cool? Oh. Ooh. Goes down, but you ain't getting down there. That's nice. All right, so we're standing in front of the crusher at it here. Soaking wet as per usual. It's rained every day since I've been here. Very humid here, so when you're walking through the jungle, you just get wet from all the stuff. Soaked all the time, sweat, humidity. It's all fun though, I guess. So we're gonna put a climbing rigging on, and the plan is to go inside the crusher. We want to go down below the crusher where the ore goes down and see if we can get to the level where the train's loaded the ore out. It's probably going to be flooded, but it's worth a try, so we'll see how we make out. Alright, so now we put a nice dry shirt on, taking some of our wet clothes off, and got our climbing rigging on, and we're going to go into the mine. Huge crusher here. I don't know how high it is. It's huge. It's a massive crusher. And what they did is they crushed the rock, the oversized rock, and then they sent it down to the 150 level, which is the main level where the trains hauled all the ore out of the mine. So the bottom of the 150 level is plugged off. There's water running out of there, but it's plugged off. You can't get in that way. So the plan is to go down one of these ore passes and see if we can access the 150 level. It's probably going to be flooded, but what the hell, we'll give it a try anyways and we'll see what we can find. And lots of cold air blowing out here. Now, there's a bunch of things going on here. There's a number of levels going down, and that's stuff that bypassed the crusher that just went straight to the rail bed below us. And we're going to show you this crusher. It's a monster crusher, and it was actually assembled right in the mine here. And they left her right where she's sitting when the mine shut down because it's just way too much work to move. As you'll see, it's about 4 stories tall, so the motor would have been relatively easy to take out. You know, the crusher, virtually impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew there was a big crusher here. I think so.
This is the crusher.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see what's left of belting or guards off of these big wheels. This is the crusher they were talking about that's in here.
There's just a massive, we know what this is here. Looks like a huge winch. Look at the size of those nuts right there on the backside. Holy. You ever see a nut that big?
No. Not for a bit.
Those nuts must be like...
This is a shape, ore box.
Oh, how do you like that for a freaking big wrench?
Frank found a little wrench there. Must be for tightening the shaker box.
So this wrench would have torqued these bolts, I guess. Look at this.
Yeah.
Good thing I got steel toe boots because if that freaking thing drops. Yeah. That wrench is for the bolts. Don't fit too good, it's a little rusty.
An old style grease gun, yeah. Focus.
It's a big machine, eh?
Yeah.
But look down in here, I think.
I don't know where.
Stairs would be like. The stairs are in good shape, I think.
I'm betting the stairs are scary.
Yeah, they're smaller treads, so. Well, this is a little higher up. So we're seeing lots of interesting stuff here. And this is very well constructed. This is the top part of the crusher. This is all the floor and stuff, the big rotten stuff that's up there. And we were up there and did a little bit of filming there. That's where that big nut was. And this is the bottom part of it. So you see it's pretty big machine. It goes all the way, see, goes all the way up to that very top level there. That's the ceiling of the top part of the crusher. And there's a big crane up there that Kevin filmed. And this is the bottom part of the crusher. So a lot of this stuff is falling off of here. It's rotted and fallen, a lot of the infrastructure. There's those rotten stairs going up there. And look at the size of the timbers and stuff, eh? They're 12 by 12 timbers. Some just massive bolts and hardware in there. And that's the main tub part of the crusher there. All infrastructure and stuff for it. There's another set of stairs here, but they're all completely rotted out of here. So this crusher was over 100 years since it's been put in here. And we'll have a little peek here for the bottom part of the crusher. And this is where the crushed material would have went down this chute. So there's some, there's the other part of the crusher. You really can't see that much of it. You know, just can kind of see the infrastructure and stuff, but it doesn't really show you. It's difficult to see how it operated exactly, but that's what this was. And look at the size of those big teeth there. Part of the crusher. This is a really big crusher. I remember reading about it. I was kind of surprised the first thing we found going underground was a big crusher. Those big wheels and stuff, so it goes back and forth on that rail to lift stuff up. I don't know what it would lift up.
The old heart was used without a doubt. Climbing up 3 stories on 100-year-old timber. So it might have been for bringing in timbers or piping or whatever. That looks like a explosive box.
So these are the bins that were on top of the crusher we were just at. So just huge, you know, the trains come right over top of here and dumped into there. There's a whole bunch of infrastructure and a whole bunch of buildings. It's all gone. You just see the concrete part, but we're going to hop down there and have a look at that. I don't know how big those are. They're probably 25 feet around each one of those circles. Well, let's go down and we'll have a closer look at it.
Hold on to.
Should be fine to walk over to where you are.
Yeah, I would think so.
After a few days of looking for an adit, we couldn't find any place to get in that wasn't flooded or just really steep and inaccessible. So we finally figured out we're just going to have to start draining this stuff, and which is we did. There was up to 5 feet of water in some places, and we just started draining this mine to get into this. Other parts just like really soft.
Well, not that deep, only down to your knees. There, you can kind of see what that material looked like before it got stained real bad. You know, this brown kind of a stain stuff is just oxidization and the elements in here. It's not what the rock would have looked like originally. We can kind of pull that away a little bit. It's kind of a fresh break off of the ribs there. See? A lot different. That looks a lot different. Oh, that's rock there, yeah. That's solid rock there. This isn't, it looks like rock, but it's just kind of a little of a coating on it. And there's solid rock in the back. So, yeah, a lot of different types of sediment here. You know, some of it's really hard. You can just walk right on it, and this stuff's kind of interesting. I mean, it's we broke through here yesterday, and it's almost dry on top. You know, it's not really mucky, but it looks pretty cool. Going through here, a bit of an effort to get through all this stuff. Certainly something you very rare to see in mines. I've never seen anything exactly like this, and there's so many unique type of sediments and formations and stuff as we're working down through here. We got way back in here, but and there's lots of air circulating through here, but we couldn't get back up to the next level. Now you see a lot more of this material broke off in the back here. Or from the ribs, I'm sorry. All in there. That looks like it's pretty rich in copper or something, man. Blue that stuff is in there. Now, it wasn't really deep. There was a huge amount of muck in the section that we were really tough to get through. Thought about it a little bit more and decided, it's probably safe enough. I kicked some of those timbers at the bottom and they weren't rotten. Have a look at this, isn't that cool? Look at the icicles hanging off of there. They're not icicles, but whatever. Pretty neat. So we're just making our way up here. There's about, I don't know, 4 feet of water here. We'll just kind of kick this out of the way. the water drain here pretty quick. Pretty soft. There we go. Down she goes. Up to our knees here. In the water. So this should drain down pretty quick. Not that deep anyhow. There's just some powder boxes and a few odds and ends, eh? Put in a burlap sack. Be careful around here because there's some powder in one of these. I don't know what that is. Look at the little, now that the water's dropping a little bit, little formations are kind of popped out of the water. These are pretty old horseshoe gates, the type we see up at Phoenix there. All riveted, as you can see. I don't know if that says there, but I thought that was an empty box, but I stuck my finger on the bottom and it's not. It's sealed. So it could very well be a full case of explosive. Yeah, it's kind of a little unnerving hearing all this stuff crash down here, but it turned out it was nothing, I guess. So we're, yeah, that's where we went. Just went up this ladder and up to that platform there. And unfortunately didn't go any further than that. So again, we got another big wet area here too. So I don't know how. Pretty extensive. Looks that cool, they put that little log up there as a backstop, I guess, to hold something up there. Oh, there's a raise going up there. I don't think we'll be going up there. I'll just chase the water down here a little bit. Gets pretty yellow, that stuff, you know, it's hard to get off your hands. It'd be good dye or something. I don't really know what it is. I was kind of thought maybe there's some sulfides in it, which there may be, but it doesn't smell like sulfur at all. So, I don't know what that is. Not going to touch it. You know, say about half the water's gone now, so it shouldn't take too much longer to drop it down quite a bit more. And I'm not really worried about any kind of a big dam all of a sudden flooding me out of here. Should be just fine. We're up to, I guess up to our crotch in water. It's not too bad. Look how much it's dropped down. All of a sudden we got this wide spot here. And there was a lot of water in this last part, so it's taken a long time for it to go down. So I didn't want to sit around here and wait forever, so I started going up. I mean, you know, big deal. Like, the chest waders are up to here, so no big deal walking in a little bit of water. So yeah, so it's kind of exciting. We've got this big Y here, and we'll see what happens next. It looks like this dam was actually held back from this side. See, it's dropping lower on that way, so we're thinking that's probably going to go to the pit.
Pretty mucky in here. Glad we dropped the water some. Now we can see from the stain, now that we've come back, we've dropped it about 6 inches. It's going to require a lot more digging. Found a shallow spot over there.
Yeah, lots of water running out there for sure. Lots of horseshoes here, like you don't see anywhere else. I mean, just even the size of the timbers. Look at the trees. That must be 2 feet across. Not many places have trees like that, but you know, we're on the west coast here, so this guy here's been plugged off. They don't smell bad or anything. You see where the kind of interesting the colors are. You see the less oxidized rock, so it's been like this for a long time. Just stepping right through to the floor. Right on the floor here, yeah. So, does not look pretty, eh? Oh, bless you. Yeah, pretty hard too. Looks nastier than it is, actually, I think. There we go. Yeah, it'd be cool to get up there. Starting to get softer in a few feet because it's kind of a hard ledge. It doesn't look quite as deep up there. Maybe a little bit. Might get a little wet getting to there. Let's see. Last time these things always seem a lot worse than they actually are. You think, oh shit. And once you get done, you think, oh, that wasn't bad.
That's great looking stuff.
Very soft there. Oh yeah. Doesn't even look very steep up that stilt, but no way of getting to the bottom of it though. If that would just fall and break on its own, I wouldn't mind sneaking through there, but I don't want to piss around under there. It's still pretty soft. Pretty quick now. Just a huge pile of mud there holding it back. There's so much water screaming down this overpass now that it's taking a lot of mud with it, so that's going to make it a lot easier. Fair bit of work. We got her now. It's really kind of sticky stuff, eh? No, it's just screaming down through here. We don't want to get clogged, eh? There you see. Got a pretty big hole. I think it's all caving in there. I think it's just going to wash all that away. It's just going to... And we see some graffiti in different places. Some guy's pretty good artist. They drawing different things, and then they'll look like a deer or something there. There's a raise going up here. None of these ladders would be usable at all. You see it going way up there. Let's do another level up there, I would suppose. This obviously big ore chutes. And we're definitely going to stick to the right-hand rule here. See, a pretty big train went down here. Last time we were at Antiox, we didn't really find much underground because those big dams, and now going crazy here. Oh, look at that polar gelatin. Look at that shape of that box. Pretty nice, eh? Can we get a year on that? No, we don't see one. Beautiful box. Beautiful, got all kinds of little raises going up and down, horseshoes. Going down to another level down there. We're heading down this little, narrow little path. I don't know where it's going. The main reason I want to go down here is because we've got the compressor line going down here. Looks like we're heading into a big ore chute. Yeah. Look at the icicles there on the hanging off the back. Well, they're not really icicles, but look at the pick. Old miner's pick. Yeah. Ooh, there's dynamite in there, look. We're not going to touch that anymore. Yeah. Look at the nitroglycerin on the outside there. Holy shit. It's just sweating on there. Waiting to blow up. Good thing we've stuck to our right-hand rule, because I'll tell you, everything sure looks the same now. I'm sure if I do what I always do, I won't have a problem, but if I hadn't, but I'd have a hard time getting out of here now. I mean, there's been so many junctions and stuff that we've been at. Don't really have any idea which way's out now. Huge. And here another four-way intersection. Wow. So we got to put, well, we can see which way we came. We'll just follow our footprints, no problem there. But another four-way intersection. I don't know how many we've seen so far. Oh, it's just crazy. Huge mine.
As long as you've been spent lost underground with Frank?
A few hours.
A few hours, huh?
Mine and stuff in mines. All kinds of power passes going up. That would be a power disconnect switch for the train to shut the power off to a certain line. You can disconnect it. Kind of an interesting pillar there. There's a junction going both ways. We're not far from the hoist level. The hoist level is just up there. So we just chop this out here. And we'll drain that. And we'll see if we can get up into this section that we haven't been into. Here's a ramp for one of our famous Granby cars. So the way that works, the Granby cars, they just ran up this ramp on one side and it tipped them down this ore pass. Yeah, lots of little raises going up here. They all look pretty nice. We came down here, and the idea is we're trying to get down to the main level, somewhere where it's not too nasty. And I figured out that wasn't that steep, even though he can't trust those ladders, but looks like a lot of iron in it. Yeah. There's no quartz here. The white you see is just calcium. Here is a bat monitor that we're putting in today. There's an organization called Bat Caver I work with, and we put these monitors in, and the way that works is it any ultrasonic frequencies that bats emit when they come in here, it'll log that for up to about 6 months. And the other little white thing is a moisture monitor. So the reason we picked this location is it's pretty noisy in this mine. You can see there's an outside exit way out there, so there's not too far to get out. Off of here branches different ways to get into here, and the hoist level goes straight down and straight up. So I was thinking, well, if bats are looking for a good place to hibernate, I figured this might be a good location. And there's some pretty cool graffiti there, and I'll show it to you. I'm not really sure what it says exactly. It looks like a sailor and a woman, and it says Buck Mosum Porto. I don't know, BC. I'm not sure. There's a guy that I think has done all this artwork. It's kind of similar style that you see in different places in the mine here. So it goes down pretty good. I'm sure don't get too close to it, or we'll be having a real close look at the bottom. There it goes, way down, eh? How far? That's pretty solid here. He's medium there. Looks like a long ways down, huh? And looking up also. Long ways up too. Some kind of a shop in here. Look like there's anything in here now. Oh, there's a sign. See, safety first, eh? All persons using this grinder must So this is the main adit we get in. It's called collapser, and it's not very far through to this great big huge open stope here. Pretty cool. So I've climbed all the way up there and didn't go anywhere. So yeah, there's the main tunnel that we came in from. And it's not very far through there, something like about 150 feet to the collapser adit. A fair bit of water here, like you can see we're up about 5 feet of water. It was here. We drained it out, so Kevin's complaining he's getting wet. Yeah, quite a bit of water in this section here, so as you can see, and we're just heading to the hoist level. And there's a sign there that says 385. I never saw it before, I'm not sure what it means. So we made it to the hoist level.
They're looking to see if they can find any stolen light bulbs from the famous Antiox.
It's on the writing, it's on the cross. No. It kind of goes like that.
Company probably gave up on trying to
Probably
stop.
light bulb still, eh? That'd be 110 volts, you think?
Yeah, it should be,
Try it
well,
out, see if it works.
should be 110.
Be careful, don't get too close to that lip, because I was wondering if it was a little unstable. Bend the very edge of it there.
Yeah.
Might be a little unstable, so I wouldn't want to venture out too far into it. Yeah, this is one of many tunnels that comes out into the pit here. And so it connects up to places a little higher, so we want to try to get up there. And if you fell down there, you kind of wreck our trip.
I just want to go up and door shut here.
A little seasoned though, it needs some WD-40, I think. Big chute gates to go out here, like 3 feet wide.
You might need a little bit of heat on it. Ben's already up there. Frank's just heading up now.
Don't get no easier than this, eh?
No, definitely doesn't.
Watch the rocks though. Just let these rocks will come down.
And we're out.
This is a little raised here. It's not that far.
Plugged off or sheet there. Got the sign that says notice. Incoming brakeman must stop train and inspect switch. All persons must put on and off their own lights.
We're in all these little shacks. There's almost like lunchrooms, but I don't know, maybe they had to separate for different trades. Everyone had their own little room or something. Kind of weird, eh? You know, because the bench is on both walls and they're all like a whole bunch, a whole row of them here. One's maybe an outhouse. Look at this, so can you see that? The red light for the trains, I've slipped that in. And then this is a green light. So we just had a little holder like we've seen, and then they stick green or red in there so the trains know whether they can go on there or not. If they want to shut down track or something, they just put red in there and then the train can't go past there.
What Frank means by not very steep is that it's less than 90 degrees.
You don't even need a roof, that's kind of easy.
That's where the spots are done. Buy me?
Double lean back here.
You're telling me.
Oh,
Yeah, cross that off
If
the
you're
list.
lucky, you take a foot across the left and then you're steep. That's pretty easy. Yeah, it goes down, it's really steep. Then it flattens out, and then it runs out more. And then it just goes down to nothing, and the water just goes through a big wide spot. So, take it down any further. So, must have been in a lower level there. It's blocked off now. It's kind of slimy going down here. It's way worse than it actually looks worse than it is. I think Kevin could have went down there, no problem. What do you think, Kevin? Wanna try it?
I think I'll leave it for today.
There.
Got her.
So after a second trip to Anyox, we drained all the water out of there and we got to this main hoist level. So we started to realize the only way we were actually going to get down to the other levels was straight down this shaft. It's kind of a bit confusing because it says 385 on the top, and we know that the main level was the 150. But we went down here and we used 400 feet of rope to go straight down. So instead of going right down the hoist, we went down the manway, where the ladders are beside it. So they look pretty good, starting to go down, but about halfway down the ladders just completely rotted and disappeared, and we just had to crawl straight down. It was pretty tough because lots of water dripping down there, and there's the mineralization formed big chunks that were falling down. They're really heavy. So it was kind of pretty challenging to go down there. So you see these big icicles or whatever, stalactites, I guess, and they've kind of formed into the wood. Just beautiful, actually, formations and stuff, but just nasty going down there. So, yeah, we made it down. It was a lot of work, a lot of energy. It's really tight in there, wet, and you had to pull yourself straight up in places where there was no ladders, but we made it to the bottom.
And he's just going straight down the manway. So we're hoping we get to the end soon. Here we've arrived, and this, we believe this is the 185 level, which is the lowest main hall level in the mine. So we ran up, that's the way up. Pretty tough. We're about 400 feet, and we'll come straight down. About half of it, no ladders at all, just straight down. We might as well have went down the shaft for all the difference it made. Huh. Yeah, so we got 3 tunnels going in all different directions here. Theoretically, if we went up the hill, it'd be less water, because, I don't know, we'll see. We'll walk around and we'll have a look and see what we can find. There's a big bin there. That's an old bin, eh? Looks all riveted, eh? Yeah. Yeah, and this is where all the water comes screaming down from the top level of the mine. And they loaded up here onto them trains, and away she went. So we'll see how far we can get. Yep, lots of water here. Oh, there's a big cable. Oh, little airlines, eh? Oh, well, there's a tunnel that goes the other way. Theoretically, if we head the right direction, we'd be getting shallower. We're not even sure what direction that would be. Then we've reached a kind of a junction here, so that's getting shallower. There's only about 3 feet of water here. And there's a junction, there's a railway going that way, and there's one going this way. We've got to go this way because this water's getting way shallower here. We're heading uphill. There we go, so there's only 2 feet of water here. Oh, make sure it doesn't fall on my head. Yeah.
Piece of the glass right down there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a sign.
I don't know if I really want to get too much closer. See a little sweating on it. So I don't think I got a chance going around that.
Powder, no open lights, danger. Looks like we're under a big deposit here. We've got a big roll of ore sheets here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I can see, 2 behind us. Oh, big ore sheets too. Massive boulders. Oh, there's big tracks here, look at the rail's still here. Looks like 36-inch track. This branch ends at this massive cavern. Can't see nothing really in here. It's just black up there. Massive up there. It goes up far as we can see. It's just black. Can't see anything up there. Polar, Forsyth Junction, CIL. This is one of the nicest, James, that's one of the nicest dynamite boxes I've ever seen. And it's exactly where it's going to stay. It would not be fun getting this out of here. Beautiful. And keep it dry as possible. There we go. Thank you. So we're hoping this isn't too deep now, because when we went up to the end of the mine, we had to let quite a bit of water down. So we're kind of worried we might be swimming at the end here, but.
Worse was us falling into fucking these deep holes.
Well, a lot better falling into the water than it is falling down a shaft. The water supports you a lot better than air.
I did better that time.
Well, nice thing, our equipment's nice and clean too. Yeah, we can go to the right to begin with, and then we'll come back and go to this other branch. Stalactites.
Stalactites, I remember
Yeah.
that one with stalagmites.
Stalagmites are from the floor. The way you remember it is stalactites. They're holding on tight. Stalagmites might reach the ceiling. Massive bins, eh? There's a man with 3 lights. I told him we need to bring 3 lights. We're not supposed to have them all at the same time. You're supposed to save them in case your light goes out, Rob. It's been interesting to see the stuff on top in different formations. Looks like a root's in there.
Crazy. Another world down here.
Yeah. The mud really changes from different areas, and it's not all the same. It's like going through a sewer or something, but it smells way nicer. Oh, there's a little place we can have a shower if we're getting too hot. Stalactites. Mineralized stalactites. I want to film it if a ladder rung breaks and you end up in the mud. Took a long time to drain everything, so it was pretty easy once you get that done. Oh, here comes the paparazzi. Yeah, you wouldn't think burlap's all that durable, but that's pretty nice bag. It's like a Gucci, retro Gucci, hey? So this is a pretty big railway. This is about, it must be just about 3 feet, eh? About 36 gauge, 36 inches, so it's a big railway. The main line's bigger, but it's a big rail for inside a mine. There you can see the handle. There's the handle for this ore gate, still in there. See, that's the guy would have set, and you just pull the handle down that opens the gate. Usually you don't see them. They take those handles off and they put it on the next one that they're using, and sometimes you even take the whole gate off. So that's a very old gate. It's all riveted. Arc welding wasn't common until about 1920. So this is a pretty old gate. So they usually use 40%. That's the most common thing. So that means 40% nitric glycerin. There's stronger and weaker stuff. Yeah, this is 40%. See, this is 40% strength.
Oh, okay.
There's 40 and 60. How's it look? Is it soft in there, Rob?
Hard as a rock.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Like pea soup.
It's like a slimy suction.
Brings back my childhood memories of playing in the mud.
Yeah. You make her, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean,
Bit of a climb, eh?
you don't see many 50-some-year-olds up there. That's me and you.
Yeah.
And you're at the top of the 50.
There's some steep areas. Good place to fly the drone from.
Yeah. Good view.
So we have the drone with us again, and what we want to do is right below us there, see that hole as you just come into there? That's where we want to go, is straight down into that hole. So the cool thing about having the drone is we can kind of scope out the best path. And what we did is to the very right of the screen, you know, there's quite a few holes in this whole area here. Top of a stope that's caved in. So, all right, so time to put the toy away, and we're gonna hop along that ledge there, and we're gonna go down the cliff, and we're gonna head into that whole big hole just below us.
We got our ropes and our climbing gear, and we're gonna head over this cliff and see if we can get into that hole. So we're gonna head down into there.
There he is onto the ledge. Oh, they found another hole anyways, and they're gonna go check it out.
It goes down, but it doesn't seem to be real steep, so I don't think we need a rope for this part. I don't think hard hat would do you much good if anything fell off of there. Big deal. It just goes to the 385 level because we saw our hip chain in the bottom of the hole, so we're going to climb back up. We didn't find any other levels. Oh, okay, this is as far as we can get though. We've come across this ledge, and there's the hole that I wanted to get into.
So that little adit right in the middle there, that one right there, that's the one that we really wanted to get into. So we had a rock hammer, and we were going to put in a bunch of rock anchors and stuff to get into there. Unfortunately, we were coming across in the boat, it swamped the bow deck, the drill was there, the salt water wrecked the drill, so it was we couldn't use the drill, so it was impossible for it to get into that little portion. And it kind of really bugged us. We think that actually leads to the very top of the hoist, the top of the hoist level into there. There isn't many other places really to check, and it kind of broke our heart a little bit that we couldn't get into that, but there's nothing really you can do. So hopefully one day we'll be able to come back with some expert rock climbers and find the few last remaining secrets of Antiox. Thanks for watching.